येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुत पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the Nectar of Instructions Bhakti Shastri study. We have completed text 1, 2, and 3, which are the longest discussions in Updeshamrit. Text 4 is very short, and today we will complete the discussion on text 4. Text 5 and 6 are a little in detail, you can say. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are very short and brief, although they are very advanced topics, but more practical for us are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up till 7 at least, because they are all connected with Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So today we will begin with text 4. Dadati prati granati guhyam akhyati pruchati bhungte bhojate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. दधाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्। दधाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्। Offering gifts in charity, dadati. Accepting charitable gifts, prati granati, accepting in return. Revealing one's mind in confidence, guhyam, confidential, akhyati, explain, prichati, inquiring. So Prabhupada is saying revealing one's mind in confidence as guhyam, akhyati, and prichati is inquiring confidentially. When you make spiritual inquiries, it is a very confidential inquiry, and especially when you make inquiry about bhakti, because bhakti is the most confidential in the Vedas. Accepting prasad and offering prasad are the six systems of love shared by one devotee and another. Bhungte bhojate chaiva shadvidam priti lakshanam. So the priti lakshanam are shadvida, and these are the six: dadati, pratigranati, गुह्यमाख्यति, पृच्छति, भुङ्क्ते, भोजते, चैव, च एव. Okay, now let's come to again Bhaktivinoda Thakur's analysis on these 11 verses of Updeshamrit. So we began with the first verse, which spoke about the Tridandi Samir Lakshan, the self-controlled Madhyamadhikari symptoms, and Bhakti Pratikul Shadgun, Bhakti Anukul Shadgun. Bhakti Pratikul are beginning from Atyahar, Bhakti Anukul are Utsa Nishchay. These are the Madhyamadhikari's external dealings and bhakti rules which he practices in order to make advancement. And text 4, how a Madhyamadhikari does Shadvid Priti Lakshanam. How does he does 6 loving actions? Because it is only a Madhyamadhikari who can do this, because Madhyamadhikari possesses that prema, because he can distinguish who is a Kanishta, who is a Madhyama, who is a Uttama, and based on their level, he reciprocates accordingly. So that is how a Madhyamadhikari deals. So that's why it is a Madhyamadhikari Goswami's external dealings and bhakti rules. And in the Piyush Varshini Vritti by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I'm just one part of it, I'm just narrating here just to understand the connection. Asat Sanga Teji Sadhu Sanga Kare Bhai, Pritira Lakshana Chaya Vichari Sadai. Bhai, brother, Teji, give a bad association. Asat Sanga Teji, Sanga Kara Sadhu, associate with sadhus. Sadhaye, Vichara, and always engage in the 6 exchanges of love. Sadha Vichare, Chaya, 6, Pritira, Lakshan, the 6 characteristics. In the association of sadhus, exchange the 6 loving exchanges. Because Asat Sang Tyag was mentioned Sangatyagat Shatovritti in the previous verse. And it is also said that one should not associate with worldly people, Janasanga. So twice it has come. Twice Rupa Goswami has mentioned it. So, okay, you have mentioned that one should not associate, but without association we cannot. So whom we should associate? We should associate with the sadhus. And what are the activities we do in that association of sadhus? These are the 6 loving exchanges which we should perform. दान ग्रह स्व स्व गुह्य जिज्ञासा वर्णन भुंजन भोजन दान संगेर लक्षण. Giving and accepting gifts, dana graha, asking about and describing confidential matters, swa swa guhya jigyasa varnan, and eating and distributing food are the characteristics of such association. Sangera lakshan, this sangha, if you are associating with sadhus, means you should be doing these 6 activities. Then only that is association with sadhus. Otherwise, it's not association. That's the point. Of course, it's a long article, and when we study the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with the previous Acharya's commentaries, we'll go in detail into these commentaries also. Now, I'm just giving an overview of the flow of Updeshamrit, which is there beginning from text 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I've done this overall analysis with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but just again to put it in a different way, we saw that the first verse describes the 6 pushes, the 6 urges, and Rupa Goswami, as a summary study in the Updeshamrita, is hinting that all these 6 senses should be, controlled. Vegas should be controlled. 6 Vegas should be controlled by bhakti, pacification for bhakti, which Prabhupada brings out in his purport. Because Rishikesha, sorry, what is it? Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. So that's the method, which is mentioned, and Prabhupada whole purport discusses. Now, in the second verse, what are the six things which make it very difficult? Because these are the constitutional faults. Atyahara prayasasya. So work on this six faults. This make it difficult. Because if you work on the constitutional faults, automatically the conditional faults will be taken care. Hare Krishna. Is the mic audible? Yeah, it's audible. So work on the constitutional faults, then automatically the condition faults will be taken care. Now, in order to overcome the constitutional faults, work on the constitutional qualities, beginning with Utsaha Nishchay Dhairyat. So that's what we see uh, in the flow from text 1, 2, 3. The six impulses that we must engage in the service of Krishna, the six things that make it difficult, the six things that we make easy. By doing these six things, we will be able to eliminate the constitutional faults, thereby the conditional faults. Now, text 1 says, one who has controlled the urges can give association to all. Because sarvam apimam prithvim sashishat. So he is able to give association all. Text 2 spoke about that worldly minded association will destroy our devotion. Jana sangascha laulyam cha shadabir bhaktir vanashati. And text 3 says the same thing. Sangatyagat sato vrittir sadvir bhaktir prashidati. Take the association of saintly devotees. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought also. Now, text 4. In text 4, the question arises, what is association? So what is that association? The six loving exchanges as Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought out. Okay. So now the purport is quite a short purport, 8 paragraphs. Prabhupada first speaks about the six loving exchanges. These are quite universal. In fact, Updeshamrit, when it was first published, the BBT asked Prabhupada how many copies we should print because they thought it is a, very deep scripture, speaking about Raganuga Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, and it is only meant for devotees, not for outside distribution. So they asked Prabhupada, or they wrote to Prabhupada, I think, and Prabhupada said, why 1,000, 2,000, print 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, and distribute even in the schools. The basic morality for the children should be taught. And in fact, all this basic morality is there spoken in text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can say in one sense. 7 onwards is Raganuga Bhakti, which is specifically for Vaishnavas. So, how one should control the senses, all that basic morality instructions, which are very common to even for outside people. So, that's why Prabhupada said this should be introduced as a basic morality course in the schools, Prabhupada said. So he speaks about the six loving exchanges which are very very universal in paragraphs 1 and 4. Then paragraph 5 Prabhupada concludes. Then 6 and 7 is the anuvritti explanation, and then there is a conclusion and what is the connection to the next verse. A paragraph is devoted what is coming up in the next verse, that is paragraph verse 5. Now, the six loving exchanges, paragraph 1 to 4. In paragraph 1, the six items of loving exchanges between devotees mentioned. There is a definition of Guhyam Akati Prichati. There is a definition of Bhungte Bhojate Chaiva. And in paragraph 2, the universal principle of six loving exchanges, example business, and then Prabhupada gives ISKCON. Then ISKCON's purpose to revive dormant Krishna consciousness. And Krishna consciousness is innate. He quotes Nitya Siddha Krishna. And this can be revived by chanting. Then he quotes the Shikshashtaka. So that's how the connection. So let's go through step by step paragraphs 1 and 2. After we go through 1 and 2, then we will take up for questions. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. So here Prabhupada is also giving the connection that you should give up bad association, and in the association, what we should do? Should we perform devotional activities? These are the 6 activities we should perform. There are 6 kinds of activities: giving charity to the devotees, accepting from the devotees whatever they may offer in return, opening one's mind to the devotees, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord, honoring prasad or spiritual food given by the devotees, and feeding the devotees with prasad. So these are the activities we should do in the association of devotees. Now, Prabhupada gives a very interesting definition of Gyuyam Akyati Prachati. He says, an experienced devotee explains Akyati, and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. This is Guhyam Akyati Prachati. Beautiful, profound definition of what is Guhyam Akyati Prachati. Guhyam Akhyati is done by an experienced devotee, and Prichati means questions are asked by the audience who are like inexperienced. Basically, it refers to a Madhyamadikari, because a Madhyamadikari can only preach. And that's why it is the Madhyamadikari who has the Bhakti Tattva Gyan. And that's why Prabhupada repeatedly in his Bhaktivedanta purports mentions that one has to come to at least the platform of Madhyama. You know, and the Kanishta is his Shraddha is very komal, and his Shastra Gyan is very less. That's what you know. Shastra Yukta Shastra nahi jane, something like that it is. But a Madhyamadikari, he is Shastra anipuna, but he is, compared to the Kanishta, he is quite learned, like that. So this is how Prabhupada defines Guyam Akati Prachati. When a devotee distributes prasad, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasad as the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. Now, here, if you remember, we had mentioned that we will be studying the entire Upadeshamrit based on Prabhupada's profound statement. Krishna conscious advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the devotee. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that attitude, how we should, honor prasad. We should accept this to maintain our spirit of devotional service, not to, overeat and enjoy the prasad. Because the body, there should be energy to do service. So just to energize the body, to maintain our spirit of devotion, we honor prasad. And we should accept it as what? Lord's grace, received through the pure devotees. Then Prabhupada says, we should also invite pure devotees at our home, offer them prasad, and be prepared to please them in all respects. This is called bhungte bhojate chaiva. So here he only defines dadati, guyamakyati prachati, and then bhungte bhojate chaiva. In the next paragraph, quite in detail, he goes into Dadati Pratigranati. Very profound way he explains. Now, let's go to paragraph 2. Even in ordinary social activities, these 6 types of dealings between two loving friends are absolutely necessary. For instance, when one businessman wishes to contact another businessman, he arranges a feast in a hotel. And over the feast, he openly expresses what he wishes to do. He then inquires from his business friend how he should act, and sometimes presents are exchanged. Yes, we have seen this everywhere. Especially the medical representatives come to meet the doctor. They have a discussion and then they give some gifts and they say, please recommend our company medicines for the patients. So that's how all these 6 loving exchanges are done. Thus, whenever there is dealing of preeti or love in intimate dealings, these 6 activities are executed. Of course, there is no dealing of love there. It is dealing for business. But generally, even in the earlier days, I don't know today, whatever is to be prepared in one house, some portion is to go to another house because there was love for the neighbors. Now, you cannot even knock your neighbor's house. They'll tell, don't disturb us. In the previous verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised that one should renounce worldly association and keep company with the devotees. Sangatyaga sato vritti, sadhu vritti. That is a sadhu vritti that he should. Asat sangatyag yahi Vaishnavachar, as Mahaprabhu also they quoted. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these six kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. What a remarkable statement. International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these six kind of loving exchanges between devotees. So why Prabhupada started ISKCON? Why did he start ISKCON? Who will answer this? Why did he start ISKCON? Yes, Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji.
To give the association, he built the
Pardon?
temple. He built so many temples to give the association of sadhus to the general public.
What exactly is Prabhupada saying here in the Nectar of Devotion? I want to hear that.
To give association.
Just read the statement, what it is saying.
Facilitate these six kinds of loving exchanges between them.
To facilitate these six kind of exclamations. Association, yes, that was the general. What that association? Association means these six loving exchanges. You have to be very specific about it. Okay.
Yes, yes.
This society was started single-handedly. This society was started single-handedly, but people are coming forward and dealing with give and take policy. The society is now expanding all over the world. We are glad that people are donating very liberally to the development of the society's activities. People are also eagerly accepting whatever humble contribution we are giving them in the shape of books and magazines, dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. Here Prabhupada says, it is dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. We sometimes hold Hare Krishna festivals and invite life members and friends to participate in the feasting by accepting prasad. Although most of our members come from the higher rungs of the society, they nonetheless come and take whatever little prasad we are able to offer them. Sometimes the members and the supporters inquire confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service, and we try to explain this. So here Prabhupada is mentioning what happens when you do bhungte bhojate. Bhungte bhojate is what? When the guest life members come for prasad, that is the time, we have to explain them, explain the philosophy. So there, during Bhungte Bhojate, then what happens? There, Ghuyamakyati Prachuti happens. So one of very senior devotee now, he just recently took sannyas. So he has been the temple president. Kamalochan Prabhu today, his sannyas name is His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurabh Prachar Swami. So he was personally sharing when he was a temple president many years back in Mira Road when he was there. And in the night after the Shayan Darshan, he was cleaning the temple. And one mother and kid visited. And, they were going back. So he thought, let me offer them khichdi prasad. So somehow he found that there was some khichdi and he offered both of them and they had and they left. And after a few days, again in the night, you know, the mother came and she asked, you know, the president, Kamal Uchun Prabhu, now Bhakti Padma Saurabh Prachar Swami, how do you make this khichdi? So he explained, how rice, dal, and some sabzis and all. So she went, she made, and she offered a son. The son said, no, this is not like that ISKCON khichdi. This is different. I want like that only taste. So she came back again. So my son is saying that, whatever you told, according to that I've made. But still, she said the taste is quite different. How do you make your khichdi? Something you add. Then he had to explain that this is prasad offered, bhoga offered to the deities, and that's why it is prasad, and that's why it has special mercy. So that inquiry is confidential, and that's how they begin their spiritual life. In this way, our society is successfully spreading all over the world, and the intelligence of all countries is gradually appreciating our Krishna conscious movement. Prabhupada doesn't say my Krishna conscious movement. Now, here, very, very profound statement. The life of the Krishna conscious society is nourished by the six types of loving exchange among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the six ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully, Prabhupada is saying, can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness, can fully revive. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Now, here, there's something which is interesting we have done. Please hear carefully. What are the fundamental principles to facilitate six kind of loving exchanges? Now, just like the gopis in Vrindavan live at three levels. In the Krishna book, there are the prayers of the gopis in separation, you know, and that is entire chapter is only prayers. And there is Gopya Ucha, and there are the prayers. But actually, if you see, various acharyas like Jeev Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they mention that this particular prayer was sung by this gopi, this particular prayer was sung by Lalita, this prayer was sung by Radharani. So, the gopis lived in Vraja at three levels. What are the three levels? The first level is the gopis are good citizens of Nanda's village. They paid taxes and did their duties. This is their level. Now, similarly, in ISKCON, we must properly act in the institution ISKCON, give respect to devotees, follow the instructions of the founder Acharya and our spiritual master. But if there are problems, we take institutional action. There has to be institutional action. Otherwise, there will be no rectification. Second, the gopis have their circle of friends to whom they reveal their minds. So there in that song, no? Chapter 21 in the Krishna book, they are revealing their hearts of their separation from Krishna. So they have their circle. In that circle, they are doing Guhya Makyati Prichati. Similarly, in ISKCON, we have our friends in ISKCON whom we can reveal our mind. ISKCON is a society of friends before it is an institution. So please mark this. And devotees who are in ISKCON, if you cannot find a friend whom you can reveal your heart as to what you're going through in your spiritual life and can't have loving exchanges, then it is very difficult to sustain in your spiritual life. And one sannyasi made a very remarkable statement, and he said that even if you have one friend whom you can confide to and you have that confidentiality maintained, you can successfully this life, pass through the journey in Krishna consciousness and attain success. So we should have that in the ISKCON. Then the third thing is every gopi has an individual personal relationship with Krishna. That's why each of the gopis are addressing Krishna and expressing their hearts, feelings of hearts. And they have a relationship with Krishna. Similarly, within ISKCON, we should have our own individual direct experience of Srila Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. He knows what we are doing. Even if our temple president or spiritual master also will know, but still Prabhupada knows what we are doing and we know what he wants of us. Of course, here, when we say that, we know what he wants from us, it is basically that as our relationship with Prabhupada increases as we become more sincere, as we become more clear, then, sorry, more sincere, and then our mind is very clear and pure, then via the transparent via medium of the spiritual master, the sadhus, and the authorities, Srila Prabhupada's books themselves, they can give us inspiration sometimes, the deities and the Paramatma, we can have this direct experience of Srila Prabhupada's presence, the Krishna's presence, and be guided. Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashata. So we should have that individual direct experience also with Srila Prabhupada. Everyone has a very unique relationship with our founder Acharya. Everyone should have it. So, any questions on this? This is very important, so that's why I'm just stopping here. The life of the Krishna Conscious Society is nourished by the 6 types of loving exchange among the members. Therefore, people must be given a chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. Any questions, any clarifications you have up till now? Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, where it is like about association, it is said that we have to take association of like-minded devotees.
Jati Snigdha
Huh.
Patavara.
So, Prabhuji, I always had that confusion, and
Mhm.
it's not yet clear that like-minded in which sense, like like-minded as per the materialistic qualities or
No,
spiritual
no, no,
devotional
no.
qualities. Because
Like,
I have in like in many like 2 3 lectures of devotees I have heard that it is based on devotional qualities, but once I was discussing with a devotee, then it he like was very firm that we had a long argument. He was saying that it is based on materialistic qualities, so I want clarity.
okay. Why you are putting me this question then?
Because I am not clear,
Like,
because that devotee in 2 lectures I heard it as devotional qualities, but that devotee was
always,
convincing.
but I would
Huh?
suggest always you raise a doubt, but you don't bring up the, things that I've heard this there, I've heard that there. You just bring up your doubt. That's important.
Yeah,
Okay.
because after that, first I was convinced that it is devotional qualities. But
No,
when
you understand
that's
my
why like
point.
I got confused. Ki,
No.
Baba, because he convincingly told me very much convincingly ki that it is not devotional qualities, it is materialistic nature, materialistic qualities. It should match. Then only you that like mind that is the like-mindedness.
So basically, here I would like to clarify that uh, Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, in his writings, especially the writings on Raganuga Bhakti, you know, Tat Tad Bhava Lipsuna, he says. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu also says Tat Tad Bhava Lipsuna. Updeshamrit says actually also. Updeshamrit also says that. Of course, Prabhupada in the Updeshamrit quotes the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, that based on one's taste, taste here means taste in bhakti. Not that I am South Indian, I like to taste idli and dosa, or you're also South Indian, you also like idli and dosa, and that's why we are friends in Krishna consciousness. Yes, that is also good. But when it comes to spiritual activities, then it might not gel also. You know, you are quite intellectual and you would like to hear Shastri classes, the other might be Katha. So you might accordingly choose. So Sajati Signa refers to especially the spiritual taste. Okay. Okay. So here the statement, please meditate on the statement, and I hope you could understand this 3 levels at which the gopis, used to live in Braja. So similarly, at 3 levels, we have to live within ISKCON. Okay. So yes, Mataji, you have another question?
Prabhuji, not another question, Prabhuji. This I just wanted to like what the devotee was explaining to me.
No, no, no. If you have a question with respect to the subject, you can ask Mataji.
Uh,
I don't want the discussion what has happened on that point, but if it is related to subject, you can ask.
yeah, Prabhuji, related to subject only. I'm saying
But
the explanation.
no, but you ask a question. You don't tell that, what that devotee said, this devotee said, Just ask the question. That is better. It's better to always, you know, ask a question to clarify, not
Yeah,
to
Ruji,
not to
that's what Ruji.
mention.
I wanted clarity. I'm not like I was clear that whatever just now what you explained, it was the same explanation I had in my mind.
So what's the question now?
But then what explanation the devotee gave after that, I became confused.
So what's your question now?
So the thing is, like the qualities that two devotees will never be able to gel even if they have same taste, maybe like for example, if I am intellectual or I love deity worship, and there is one more devotee, she also likes deity worship, we won't be able to gel until and unless our materialistic qualities are similar.
Uh, well, I cannot say anything much about it. Whatever the Acharya has spoken, I'm just repeating that. Okay.
So I after hearing this, like that's why things came out.
Yeah. I'm just repeating what the Acharya is saying, and
Okay,
that is
thank
within my experience. That's it.
okay, thank you, Viruji.
Yeah. Okay, so sometimes we might feel that, maybe we are not having the association of Uttam Adhikari or Mahabhagavat to, advance in our Krishna consciousness. Maybe we should take association outside of ISKCON. But Prabhupada is very clear here that just by associating with the devotees of ISKCON and by reciprocating the 6 ways, you know, one can fully revive, Prabhupada says, his Krishna consciousness, normal Krishna. So it's not that, to fully revive, maybe I should take some outside association. No. And we brought out these 3 points, how the gopis lived in Praja, and these three, how we should live within the society of ISKCON. Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita 262, it is said, Sanjat Sanjayate Kama. One's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. It is often said that a man is known by his company, and if an ordinary man associates with devotees, he will certainly develop his dormant Krishna consciousness. The understanding of Krishna consciousness is innate in every living entity, and it is already developed to some extent when the living entity takes a human body. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhya Kabuna, Shravana Di Shuddha Chitta Korayode. So Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhya Kabunai, this has to be understood also that uh, the potency to illuminate is there in the bulb. Bulb has that energy and it is there, but only when it is connected through the wire and when the switch is turned on, then it can manifest its nature of illumination. Similarly, the potency of fire is there within the wood. It is latent within the wood, but it cannot manifest until another wood, which is lit with fire, comes in contact. So, coming in touch with the association of devotees, then that latent, innate nature of the soul is awakened by Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitta Kare. Pure love of Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, that love naturally awakens. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. So, inherent, I mentioned what exactly. Simply by hearing and chanting Shravana Kirtanam, one's heart is directly purified and one's original Krishna consciousness is immediately awakened. It is immediately awakened. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart, it is already there. When one chants the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the heart is cleansed of all mundane contamination. Chaito Darpana Marjanam, Prabhupada is going to come to that. Yeah. In the first stanza of the Shishashtaka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shraya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam विद्यावधू जीवनम आनंदाम्बुदिवर्धनम प्रतिपदम पूर्णामृतास्वादनम सर्वात्मसपनम परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spread the rays of the benediction moon. Shaya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam. It is a life of all transcendental knowledge, Vidyavadu Jivanam. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. It enables to us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Pratipadam Purnamrita Aswadanam. So, Prabhupada is connecting this whole discussion that how in the association uh, one can awaken his dormant Krishna consciousness, which is innate, that means it is latent, and that can happen by hearing and chanting, you know. And when we hear the Mahamantra, Cheto Darpanam Marjanam happens. Now, paragraph 3 and 4 and 5. Paragraph 3, Prabhupada continues that chanting cleanses oneself and others and even the lower species. He gives the example of Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jharkhand. And giving holy name is Dadati principle and accepting the holy name is Pratigranati principle. That's what the whole connection is now. In the second and third paragraph, Prabhupada is dealing with Dadati Pratigranati. And in paragraph 4, Prabhupada speaks about the ISKCON Sunday feast enables the 6 loving exchanges. And what is real religion? Real religion is to revive our love of Godhead. He quotes this. And then Prabhupada concludes. Okay, so let's now go to the paragraphs 3 and 4 and 5. Not only is the chanter of the Mahamantra purified, but the heart of anyone who happens to hear the transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is also cleansed. Even the souls embodied in the lower animals, insects, trees, and other species of life also become purified and prepared to become fully Krishna conscious simply by hearing the transcendental vibration. See the potency of the holy name. That souls in the lower species of life also they become purified and become prepared to become fully Krishna conscious. Now, this has to be understood from a deeper sense. Like if there is any tree next to the temple and that tree is hearing the Mahamantra in the next life, maybe, it has to gradually evolve to so many other species and then come to the human form. But because it is next to a temple and it's hearing the kirtan, it might next life take a human birth. So that's how fully, they are prepared to become fully Krishna conscious. This was explained by Thakur Haridas when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from him how living entities lower than human beings can be delivered from material bondage. So this is a discussion which happened in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila. Mahaprabhu first asked how these Kali Kale Yavanapar, there are only Yavanas who don't follow Vedic religion. Go Brahman Hatya Kare. They kill the cows. And how will they be delivered? So Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan and the most fallen. He's asking them how these will be delivered. And Haridas Thakur says, just by chanting the Namabas, even in, you know, out of condemnation, Har Ram, they'll get the benefit of chanting Namabas, and by Namabas they're liberated. Mahaprabhu is very pleased hearing this. And then he starts asking, what about the lower species? So Mahaprabhu says, Haridas Thakur says that when the devotees chant loudly in the Sankirtan, so all these lower species also they hear and they echo also back, it seems. That's what he says. So all that discussion is there. Haridas Thakur said that the chanting of the holy names is so powerful that even if one chants in the remotest part of the jungle, the trees and the animals will advance in Krishna consciousness simply by hearing the vibration. So there is Jananand Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada disciple, who is basically from UK, who preaches many lot in European countries and in France. Very, very enthusiastic sannyasi. I once was with him. I was in Vrindavan for some treatment. I was staying in our ashram, and Maharaj was staying with us. He said, "Let's go morning for the parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama." And he, two, three of his disciples, and myself, we went. We started the parikrama morning 9 o'clock. We ended up evening only 6:30 because whole time during the parikrama, Maharaj was doing kirtan and dancing non-stop, except a break for lunch and little Yamuna bath, Yamuna Snan. Continuously, Maharaj was dancing. Maharaj has written a book called as Animals in Krishna Consciousness, which are true incidents of many animals who were come in touch with ISKCON and how they advanced. This was actually proved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he passed through the forest of Jharkhand. At that time, the tigers, snakes, deer, and other animals abandoned their natural animosity and began chanting and dancing in Sankirtan. Of course, we cannot imitate the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we should follow in his footsteps. We are not powerful enough to enchant the lower animals such as tigers, snakes, cats, and dogs, or entice them to dance, but by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can actually convert many people throughout the world to Krishna consciousness. So Mahaprabhu could, convert the lower species into devotees. The Jharkhand pastime is there. The tigers and deers embraced and kissed each other. Of course, there are also in the recent, Rasikanand had an elephant who was his disciple. In Barsana, just 30, 40 years back, there was a tiger who became a disciple of a Sadhu Vaishnava, Baba. And, the Sadhu ordered this tiger to go and do Madhukari. And he used to go and knock the door. And suddenly the Brajvasis, Barsanavasis open and just to see a tiger, they used to get scared and run away. So he used to feel very morose. So he came back to the Sadhu. The Sadhu understood and then he put a plate. I've come to do Madhukari. So now when he used to knock, they used to read the plate, the board on front in hanging in his neck, and they used to offer him. He'd become a vegetarian. So, there are some powerful devotees, or the Lord can do it, but at least we should try to convert people into Krishna consciousness. Contributing or distributing the holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contributing or giving charity. This is Dadati principle, which Prabhupada is explaining. By the same token, one must follow the Pratigranati principle and be willing to ready to receive the transcendental gift. Now, this is a very, very deep point what Prabhupada is saying here. Actually, sometimes we preach in such a heavy way that we, instead of making people favorable, we make them unfavorable. Especially when we take up to Krishna consciousness, we go and preach our family members, our relatives, or parents, and they become anti, because we lack that maturity. Utsamai, too much utsamai. But we should preach in such a way that they are ready and willing to receive this gift. This is the art of preaching, that they naturally are ready to accept this, gift. So that is an art which we should learn. One should inquire about the Krishna conscious movement and open his mind in order to understand the situation of the material world. This is Goya Makati Prichati principle. Thus, the Goya Makati principles can be served. So, when you do Dadati Pratigranati of giving the holy name and they receive it, then they will ask questions how to chant, what is the benefits of chanting. So, the Goya Makati principle is served. Okay. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness invite society members and supporters to dine with them when they hold love feast in their branches every Sunday. Many interested people come to honor Prasad, and whenever possible, they invite members of the society to their homes and feed them sumptuously with Prasad. In this way, both the members of the society and the general public are benefited. People should give up the company of so-called yogis, jnanis, karmis, and philanthropists because their association can benefit no one. And this has been already, hammered a lot by in the Anuvritti explanation when uh, karmis, jnanis, yogis are all atyaharis because they desire enjoyment, and one should not associate with them. Sangatyagat was mentioned. So one should associate only with the devotees. If one really wants to attain the goal of human life, he should associate with the devotees of Krishna conscious movement because it is the only movement that teaches one how to develop love of God. Prabhupada's statement here you can just meditate. Prabhupada is saying this is the only movement which teaches. Religion is a special faction of human society and it constitutes the distinction between human society and animal society. Animal society has no church, mosque, or religious system. In all parts of the world, however downtrodden human society may be, there is some system of religion. Even tribal aborigines in the jungles also have a system of religion. When religious system develops and turns into love of Godhead, it is successful. So how Prabhupada, this is how Prabhupada when he was preaching to, especially, the other religions, he said, your religion is the best if it teaches how to develop love of Godhead. That's the standard of religion, he said. And that's why Prabhupada quotes this. Save pumsan paro dharma yatho bhakti rajokshaje ahetuk apratyata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation of all humanity is that by which men can attain loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the love. So pure devotion means ahetuki. Love means there should be no selfishness. Selflessly, you have to do it for the pleasure of the beloved, that is the Lord. And not that love means I do one day, next day I don't do. No, it should be apratyata. That's what Prabhupada puts. Now, if the members of the human society actually want peace of mind, tranquility, and friendly relationship between men and between nations, they must follow the Krishna conscious system of religion by which they can develop their dormant love of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as people do so, their minds will immediately be filled with peace and tranquility. So Prabhupada is saying that if you want human society to be, actually if they want peace of mind, they want tranquility and friendly relationships between themselves and between nations also, then they must follow this Krishna conscious system of religion. And we see in our Krishna consciousness, there are Indians, Russians, Americans, Chinese, and we all come together in Mayapur and we feel that we are part of one family. We don't distinguish, oh, he's from a different country, foreign land. We all are united at heart because we are all part of family of Krishna. So this is how peace and tranquility can come. So that's where Prabhupada ends his purport. Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarvas Thakur's purport is quite brief and there's only 2 paragraphs. But before we go into that, do you have any questions on this? This is quite straightforward and simple. And do Do you have any questions, any clarifications? Shri Lalita Mataji, yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I don't have a question. I just wanted to add that in this you told no the animals and all will hear. Even in Parama Karuna, that verse comes Pasu Paki Chure Pasana Vitare. Suniyan.
Tava Gunagata, yeah.
Yeah, Hare
Apana
Krishna.
Karama Bhunjaya Shamana Kohe Lochana. Yes.
Yes,
There
Hare
also
Krishna.
about Gauranga's mercy is there.
Yeah, for all the animals and birds.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
That's true. Yes. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. So you said at home with your family members, it is an art to preach. Can you just, in short,
Not
explain
only
this?
at home, with everyone. A Madhyamadikari is matured. He knows how to give the medicine. Just like the mother, when the child doesn't want to take the bitter medicine, she has to know the art how to administer the medicine to the child so that ultimately he will get cured. So similarly, the medicine is the holy name and the disease is avidya. So then expert preacher knows the art of how to administer the medicine for each and every case. So that's an art of preaching, which is a very vast topic. I just brought out that point that we should preach in such a way that people become naturally inclined to take up Krishna consciousness. That's the point. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear. That means that one has to work upon it and do some researches, like, what
Yes. It requires a lot
like
of
the
maturity.
mother, yeah, like the mother does for the child. What is
Yes.
that
One
the
has to
child
work on
prefers?
intelligently how to
Mm.
administer, how I behave and act in such a way, in such a way that they become more favorable. But usually
Mm.
we behave and act in such a way that, think, oh, you are all in Maya, I am Krishna's devotee, you are all in Maya. When we make these statements, then, it is anti-preaching which happens. So that we need to take care. Okay, fine. So let's go to the Anuvritti commentary, which is just a short commentary, 2 paragraphs. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur focuses on only one thing. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wants all devotees engaged in broadcasting the Krishna conscious movement not to speak with the impersonalists or Mayavadis who are always determined to oppose such atheistic movements. The world is full of Mayavadis and atheists, and the political parties of the world take advantage of Mayavad and other atheistic philosophies to promote materialism. That's why you see most of the political parties, they are, you know, they are associated with these Mayavadi organizations because actually Mayavadi is in one sense promoting materialism. Sometimes they even back a strong party to oppose the Krishna conscious movement. The Mayavadi and other atheists do not want the Krishna conscious movement to develop because it educates people in God consciousness. Such is the policy of the atheist. There's no benefit in feeding a snake milk and bananas because the snake will never be satisfied. On the contrary, by taking milk and bananas, the snake simply becomes more poisonous. It becomes more poisonous. Kevalam Visha Vardhanam. So this is basically from the Chanakya Pandit or the Pancharatra. If a snake is given milk to drink, it, its poison simply increases. For a similar religion, we should not disclose our minds to the serpent Mayavadis and Karmis. So the Mayavadis and Karmis are compared to the serpents. Such disclosures will never help. So here I have quoted this Kevalam Vishavardhanam. Actually, this is from the Chanakya Pandit or the Panchatantra. Upadesho hi murkanam prakopaya na shantaye paya panam Bhujangana kevalam vishavardhanam. Just as feeding milk, paya, panam means to drink. Bhujangana, it is the snake. A snake only increases its venomous poison. Kevalam vishavardhanam. So giving good counsel to a foolish person, upadesho hi murkanam, causes him to become more angry. Prakopaya na shantaya. Instead of becoming shant, he doesn't become shant, he becomes more angry. So this story is there in the Panchratra. Once a group of monkeys were feeling cold in the winter and they saw some red gunja berries and they thought it is a spark of fire. And to handle it carefully, they covered it with dry leaves and started blowing. And then they were trying to rub their hands to feel warmth. But where the warmth will come? So the birds, they were sitting there and they were watching this. They said, "Dear monkeys, your efforts are futile. That is not a spark of fire, but it is only a gunjabiri. To feel warmer, you should go to the mountain cave where there is no cold wind. Go inside the mountain cave, there is no cold wind." So this is the upadesh they were giving, these birds. So the monkeys ignored the bird, and so the birds repeated their advice. One of the monkeys became very angry at the bird and he grabs the bird and smashes her at the rock. So the Panchratra gives this words of wisdom, and Prabhupada in his lectures he quotes this, that when we preach, our task is very difficult because we are preaching the message and sometimes people become angry. So this is what Prabhupada is quoting here. It is best to completely avoid associating with them and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis and atheists or accept their invitations, for by such intimate intermingling, we become affected by atheistic mentality. So again, Prabhupada quotes, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. So here in the Bhagavad Gita that comes, understanding of the meaning in the context. Sanjat Sanjayate Kama, Prabhupada in that word and from such attachments to the objects and lust develops it is. But here Prabhupada, if you saw previously, one's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. So if you keep the company of smokers, one day you will become a smoker. Congratulations. Why? Because you associated. So our desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. So a very beautiful insight he gives of this verse. Although this verse is quoting Dhyaito Vishan Pumsan Sangash Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama, how it happens, So the downfall from a negative sense it is mentioned. So from a positive sense, Prabhupada is using this explanation how in like-minded association, if we associate with devotees, we will become devotees. If you associate with smokers, you'll become a smoker. If you associate with drunkards, you'll become a drunkard. It is a negative injunction of this verse that we should refrain from giving anything to or accepting anything from Mayavadis and atheist. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also warned, Vishar Anna Khale Dushta Hoye Man. When one eats food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes wicked. So once in Australia, I think Prabhupada was visited by some Mayavadi saints and they came to challenge Prabhupada, and Prabhupada very heavily defended and smashed all their false philosophies. And Mayavadis are Mayavadis. Then while going, they gave their pamphlet about their, organization or some program. So then they left. And Prabhupada with his disciples was having some snacks. I think muri. Prabhupada used to have muri, churmara. And then suddenly remembered, get that paper and you use that paper as a, cup, make it, roll it in and make it cup and you put all the muri in it, churmara, and he started eating. At least let us use this in their in the service of Krishna. At least they'll get benefit. So otherwise we should not accept anything from them. unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna conscious movement. Therefore, on principle, one should not accept charity from the Mayavadis or atheists. So devotees also go to fundraising for those houses where they are very favorable, and they, they give them prasad, and that's how, in one sense, they also say Hare Krishna. That's why they are devotees. You cannot say that they are materialist. They are pious. But overall, this is the principle we should follow. Indeed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has forbidden devotees to associate even with ordinary men who are too addicted to material sense gratification. Now, last is conclusion. The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of acharyas, and in full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual masters. So Prabhupada is mentioning here, about tat tat karma pravartanat and sadhu vritti. So doing that in the sangha of devotees will achieve success. In this way, we shall be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. The devotee who is neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavat, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friends with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and demonic. So here Prabhupada mentions that this is the Madhyam Adhikari. Ishwaru tadadineshu bhalishu dvishatsu cha prem maitri kripapeksha yah karoti sa madhyama. The second class devotee is called Madhyam Adhikari, offers his love to the Supreme Personality, Ishvara Prem. Because he has Prem for the Ishvara, that Prem manifests in the form of Maitri with equals. That very Prem for the Ishvara manifests as Kripa to the innocent. That same love which is there for the Lord manifests as compassion for the innocent. That same love for the Lord manifests as upeksha, neglect, because they are envious. So he neglects. By that, he's also bestowing his mercy in one sense. He's a sincere friend of all devotees of the Lord. Maitri tadadinishu shows mercy to the ignorant people who are innocent. Balishu kripa, and disregard those who are envious of the Supreme Person. Dushatsu upeksha. So it's a Madhyam Adhikari who has love, and these are the Shad Pritir Lakshanam. Shad Pritir Lakshanam. Last paragraph. I'm just taking a little time more because I want to finish this, and there is only there's just one slide. Please forgive me for that. In this verse, there's a brief mention of the process of making loving transactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and making friends with devotees. Now, when we have love for the Lord, how is that love manifested? What is the symptom of that love which is manifested? When we have love for the Lord, how do you know what are the symptoms? Anyone, raise your hands. Sri Lalita Mataji, yes.
Prabhuji, you start seeing Krishna and everybody, you're very compassionate towards them. Because you know that everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. You are feeling very compassionate. You want them.
Okay, that's good. But based on text for discussion, can you be more specific? Anyone also would like to try? When we have love for the Lord, we will do these 6 loving exchanges with the devotees. We will do these 6 loving exchanges. This 6 loving exchanges is a symptom that we have love for the Lord. That's how also we can develop love for the Lord also. But that's why a Madhyam Adhikari has love for the Lord, and that's why he does this 6 loving exchanges. According to the Adhati principle, an advanced devotee, Prabhupada says, who? Advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income on the service of the Lord and his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has set an example in his life. When he decided to retire, he distributed 50% of his life's earnings to Krishna service, 25% to his relatives, and kept 25% for his personal emergencies. This example should be followed by all devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotees, and this will fulfill the demands of the dati. In next verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as friend and how Vaishnava should be served. So Madhyamadhikari knows Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha, how you should deal with the Kanishta, how you should deal with the Madhyama, how you should deal with the Uttama. So that only a Madhyama can distinguish who is a Kanishta, who is a Uttama. So here, 2 points I would like to make here and end the discussion. One is there are two observations which we had and which we have observed practically. Suppose there is a software engineer who is having 1 lakh salary. And sometimes I've seen they can give 50% of their income, 50,000 to the temple. This is also good. Or he can spend all his expenses like rent, loan, whatever, and say in that there is 30,000. And then in that 50%, that is 15,000, something like that. Or somebody is running a business and he's got, huge profits. And in that profit, after all the expenses are removed, then certain percentage he can give. But this is the standard 50%, 25%, 25%, and an advanced devotee Prabhupada is saying here. It's only an advanced devotee who can do that. Kanishtas cannot do that. So one has to gradually increase, and the more he does that, the dati, then he will get more transcendental knowledge, Guhya Makyati Prichal, because he will associate with sadhus, So that will fulfill the demands of the dati says. So that ends the discussion. And the last point I wanted to make is Guhyam Makyati Prishati. Now, this is very, very important. Lord Ram, anyone could come and meet Lord Ram and reveal his heart. And Lord Ram kept that matter confidential and never discussed with anyone else. So, in the association of devotees, to get someone who can maintain confidentiality, only to such a person we should confide. And that one has to carefully evaluate who is such a sadhu whom I can, or associate friend of mine, devotee, whom I can do that. After careful evaluation, one should develop that friendship and carefully, systematically reveal and have that deep relationship. And have that protocol that, that confidentiality will be maintained. This is very, very, very important within the society. So this is one last point I wanted to mention and end this discussion. Of course, any questions, any clarifications about this? This is very simple, but also very, very important in terms of Prabhupada's purport about loving exchange and the 3 levels we saw how we should be in ISKCON. Yes, Priya Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there was a slide which mentioned the words of wisdom.
No, that is the verse from the Panchatantra.
Yes.
Updesho
So,
hi murkanam, that Updesho hi murkanam. Kevalam Vishavardhanam. Prabhupada quoted that only last line, but we quoted the entire verse. Updesho hi murkanam prakopaya na shantaya paya panam bhujanganam kevalam Vishavardhanam. Prabhupada only quoted here Kevalam Vishavardhanam. So we quoted the entire verse. That's it.
yes. So over there,
Yeah,
so just as feeding milk to a snake only increases its venomous poison, so giving good counsel to a foolish person causes him to become more angry.
correct.
So, uh, giving good counsel as a devotee, that we are soul, we are not body, because the person in front is who is a foolish person here. He is imagining the body to be himself. I mean, what?
No, what's your question? You have to be, you cannot generalize something. You have to be something specific.
Yes, so in short, you can just explain what this means, this verse. Like,
It generally means that if you give good counsel to people, people will not take it and they'll become angry. Just like the monkeys,
okay,
who did not hear the good counsel of the birds and they smashed the birds.
okay, okay. Fine.
Generally, that is, instead of, taking the good counsel, they become more angry. Just like feeding the milk to a snake, instead of, becoming pacified, it becomes more poisonous and it will bite you. So, in general, it is like that, the tendency. And that's why one of the, you know, one of the things with especially Indians, Prabhupada says that they like to give counseling. And even Krishna, started counseling Arjuna. Kutasma kashmalam idam samape pasitam anarya jushtam, klaibyam, and Arjuna fired back, katam bhishmam aham sanke. So, counsel should be given when somebody comes and asks. Giving this free advice is, uh, one of the habits which we should avoid also. One of the habits we should avoid. And to preach again is an art, that how you open up the discussion and how you administer the message so that they are favorable. So all that requires expertise. It's an art, and that's why this is a general principle which we should follow from the Panchatantra. Okay, fine. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Updeshamrit ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna.